And if you check the creationists or the evolutionists, the two of them will tell you that life start in Africa. The only difference is that the evolutionists will tell you that the oldest fossil of any human being was found in Ethiopia, and it is the woman. The creationists will tell you, say, the woman come from a man's ribs. Yes. The evolution will tell you, say, the earth is millions of years old. The creationists will tell you, say, it is 6,000 years old. Now that me can't take. When a man tell me, say, the Bible say 6,000, therefore 6,000. I mean, with all the evidence in front of him, with all the reality we're in front of him, insist, I tell you, say, the earth is 6,000 years old. Craziness. Then some man come tell you, say, when the Bible say God made the earth in 6 days, him tell you, say, well, Muta, you have to understand, you know, that one day is like 1,000 years to the Lord, but it's foolishness that, because the Bible specifically said the evening and the morning was the first day. That cannot be 6,000, that cannot be 1,000 years. This thing I never making no 6 days. And that is old time thinking from people who don't want to take new information in them. If you really believe, say, this earth is 6,000 years old and that everything making 6 days, something wrong with your brains. May I tell you, something really wrong with your brains. If you really believe that everything where they are so making 6 days. Trust me. I think the biggest news to I personally is this new skeleton that was found in Ethiopia. They are always fine. Hey, there's no doubt. There is no doubt. Oh, you look at me, someone. A new skeleton. Yeah. It's a new skeleton because they've just find it. It due to the one where they didn't find before, which was Lucy, a Denkenesh. A Denkenesh is the name them give to that skeleton that them found and say it was 3.5 million years old. Well, this one them say it gone 1 million years older. So it's a serious thing because, you know, people here we are talking all the while, you know, and I say Ethiopia, and people are saying, look, Rasta thing. But guess what? Original man. The place where them call Ethiopia right now. At Deso it start. Human species, civilization, evolve through time and space, through that little place where them call Ethiopia. So it is no wonder. That I and I could come right now and look to Ethiopia for our salvation. Yes, it is no wonder. Our salvation did have to come through the oldest point of reference. No one can say nothing about that. And we don't have to legitimize that through the Bible because the Bible not old. And just the other day the Bible come out. We are talking about ancient civilization. Millions of years old. It is no accident why Rasta come now and say Ethiopia. Because Ethiopia have so much of the history of human species that if we look inside at that and say our salvation belongs to Ethiopia and come from Ethiopia and emanate from Ethiopia, who is these people who come tell us different? The story of humankind is reaching back another 1 million years with the discovery of Ardi, A-R-D-I, a humanid who lived 4.4 million years ago in what is now Ethiopia. The 110-pound, 4-foot female roamed forests 1 million years before the famous Lucy, long studied as the earliest skeleton of a human ancestor. No. The older skeleton reverses the common wisdom of human evolution, said anthropologist C. Owen Lovejoy of Kent State University. rather than humans evolving from an ancient chimp-like creature, the new find provides evidence that chimps and humans evolved from some long ago common ancestor, but each evolved and changed separately along the way. This is not the common ancestor. This is not that common ancestor, but it's the closest we have ever been able to come, said Tim White, director of the Human Evolution Research Center at the University of California, Berkeley. The lines that evolved into modern humans and living apes probably shared an ancestor 6 million to 7 million years ago, White said in a telephone interview. But are they, as many traits that do not appear in modern day African apes, leading to the conclusion that the apes evolved extensively since we shared that last common ancestor. A study of Hardy underway since the first bones were discovered in 1994 indicates the species lived in the woodlands and could climb on all fours along tree branches, but the development of their arms and legs indicates they didn't spend much time in the trees and they could walk upright on two legs when on the ground. Formerly dubbed Ardipithecus tamidus, which means root of the ground ape, the find is detailed in 11 research papers published Thursday by the journal Science. This is one of the most important discoveries for the study of human evolution, said David Pilbeam, curator of philanthropology at Harvard Peabody Museum of Archaeology and Ethnology. It is relatively complete in that it preserves head, hands, feet, and some critical parts in between. It represents a genus plausible ancestral to Australopithecus, itself ancestral to our genus Homo, said Phil Bean, who was not part of the research teams. Scientists assembled the skeleton from 125 pieces. And the article goes on, and I'm sure you a drawing here of what they found. The arms is very long, may I tell you, long arms. But yes, they found right there in Ethiopia, the same place, geographical location where they found Lucy. So if them go and look, if the scientists are evolutionists, then the creationists might search for the first man there and who them are perceived to be God. Yes, I am putting it this way. Maybe I should get a PhD for this now. Because if the scientists them who's evolutionists, because you have two train of thought, you have the evolutionists and the creationists. There's a school of thought where the creationists believe that there's some entity out there that created the first one, and he's called Adam. And there's the other school of thought, scientifically, that man evolved from apes, according to a Charles Darwin theory that has been scientifically proven that man actually evolved from these apes through the discovery of these bones and parts. So, my reason is this, that if the creation story in the Bible, when them says Eden, the Garden of Eden, and it shows you geographically where the Garden of Eden was in the Bible, and it mentioned the same land, Ethiopia. And the evolutionist theory scientifically says that they find the first human being in the same location, Ethiopia. Then the probability should arise that we should also look in Ethiopia for the creator of this human species. Aye, sir. What am I suggesting here? I am suggesting that Ethiopia is the answer to not only to the creationists, but to the evolutionists. That is what I am suggesting. I am suggesting that if we be practical and true to ourselves, we would look for our beginning through Ethiopia. And Marcus Garvey, though not being a man who cared very much for the idea that Rasta project, did say that we should look to God through our own spectacle, through the eyes of Ethiopia. Marcus Garvey said that in the Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey. Him say, if the white man choose to worship God through his spectacle, let him do it. If the Jews worship God through the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, let him do it. But we, though let it might be, should worship God through Ethiopia. Now, some people might say that when he say Ethiopia, he wasn't talking about that specific part of the land. But we know that Marcus Garvey hardly declared the whole of Africa as Ethiopia, because he mentioned Africa as Africa. But on this specific occasion, he mentioned Ethiopia. And I am saying that Ethiopia, to the evolutionists, is the birthplace of the human species. And to the creationists, it is the birthplace of the human species. So why is it implausible to look for, if you're a creationist thinker, why is it not the possibility that the creator of this creation is not residing in the belly of Ethiopia? And though a lot of people might claim that the Rasta man don't know what I say and don't have no sense, because he might look for one man and I declare him God, I non-apologetically I say it is better to search in the bowels of Ethiopia through your ancestral legacy and define yourself through Haile Selassie than to imagine vain things about a concept that was given to us by insecure men. Yes. And it's not ordinary for a man come declare Haile Selassie. Because when you look on the idea that Rasta man declare, it's much bigger than all Rasta too. Much bigger. And it just amazes how people just shun it as some stupid concept. Instead of them look upon the fullness of it and the realization of it. But because it come from a set of people who them claim say, no, have no theological background and not educated enough to decipher concepts and ideas, they more want to say we don't have no sense. But the plausibility is there through evolution and through creation story. The plausibility is there. There is a fullness in what the Rasta man is saying about Haile Selassie and about Ethiopia. There is a fullness. There is a higher level of perception that is not grasped by the normal, everyday person who are think about Savior and Jesus and God and all them thing there. Serious thing. I mean, I'm bringing a talk a while ago about the magnitude of the Rasta idea and not Rasta not really grasping the magnitude of the idea. You know, see, because we're coming from a Christian society, most Rasta choose to validate this idea through a biblical perspective. But if you could have just step out of that biblical perspective a moment and realize that what Rasta is saying is like momentous. I mean, if there's such a word, it's like large. And I don't really think most Rasta understand the magnitude of this concept, this idea that Rasta project upon the world by saying Haile Selassie. I don't think a whole heap of Rasta understand it. I don't think a whole heap of Rasta understand that saying Haile Selassie is not just linking a man with a Solomonic dynasty, linking a man with biblical perspectives, but realizing that it's like a giant. It's like something. You ever see a cloud like somebody just kick up dust and it just pours out. It just. May I tell you? I mean.
That's what they would call a snowball effect.
Yeah. Running bigger and bigger and bigger. Kind of gather up snow.
Yeah.
Cause when you look on these, when you look on these archaeological findings, and all right, first of all, me and some people are reason just this weekend in a Cincinnati. They are Cincinnati and a reason on a radio program in a Cincinnati. Why you look the people them in a Cincinnati? Why you? And we say, all right, the evolution show you non-apologetically that the earth cannot be 6,000 years old. It is ridiculous. I mean, not even the most sensible, not even the most ignorant Christian theologian.
Only dark Christian would tell you that, no.
Still. Yeah, after all of this.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, if I tell you, say,
Only
the earth is 6,000 years old.
No.
You know, see, I don't even know, you know, one of the, Ian Boy, I forgot to interview Ian Boy.
More than
yes, because look at now. The Bible say the earth is 6,000 years old. You know, man is 6,000 years old. In I'm farm, I'm stay here, so no. It means 6,000 years old. That means, say, according to the Bible, before Adam, there was no man. That is what the Bible is saying. Before Adam, there was no man. So, where the Bible tell you, say, man in the state to him is now, when he was created, it's so him did stay. That is what I say. And 6,000 years after, him stay the same way. The same look, the same design is just so. God make man, and just how we look now is so God did make man. And 6,000 years of man is where we have for earth. No, believe you me, man. Geologically, archaeologically, anthropologically, there is no way a man in a right sense could I really believe, say, where up on earth here, so no, the birds, the bees, the flowers, and the trees is just 6,000 years old. No way. He have to be the most stupid and most irrational mind.
The same man will believe that, you know. Believe, say, you'd have dinosaurs lived 10 million years ago.
But how can believe that if dinosaurs did live before prehistory? Them call it prehistoric,
man.
Man.
No reason it.
You know, it's a weird thing. Him just say, yeah, him said they'd have dinosaur. Yeah. Then if they'd have dinosaur, and the dinosaur was like, I mean, me go at Jericho, Rasta. The same wall, the same place. Where them say, round the wall of Jericho, the army went. 7 times the people shout and the wall fall down. I went to the spot where that wall was. And on entering the city of Jericho. And I said this many times on this program, I know. I sound like a parrot now, but I keep repeating the same thing. When we went to this city, when we are just about to enter the city, there is a sign there that says, "Welcome to Jericho, the oldest city on earth, 10,000-year-old." That is what the sign says. "Welcome to Jericho, the oldest city on earth, 10,000 years old." No, that is 4,000 more than the Bible, man, you know. There have to be man creating cities. And these people claim that Jericho is 10,000 years old. If you go to Egypt and look on buildings and structures and human art forms and artwork, it is more than 10,000 years old. You must have man there. Yeah, you must have man there build these things, you know. Therefore, when we are said non-apologetically, Rasta come in a him so-called ignorance and in a him so-called poverty-stricken position in this farmer slave plantation island, so, and say, Emperor Haile Selassie is the Almighty, and him say, Ethiopia at the original, for him original place, and people scoff at him, shun him, do all manner of things with him, without looking into the idea. Because the idea don't originate with the man who ball it out, so you know. Is thousands of years the idea linger in the wind, you know. It just come grab some people in this part of the world, yeah. But it's thousands of years the idea they are linking a linger in the wind. So, a man nobody make it come like say it's a joke thing, because see there, the creationists and the evolutionists are declare Ethiopia. So, if we never got dig up no soil, somehow we never ever take no plane yet. Most Rasta never take a plane that left Jamaica. The elder them, when they come up with the idea, never know Ethiopia, but them declare it. We have to really take a stock. All the little people them who look on Rasta like Rasta, you know, some little ganja smoking fool set of people them. We are linked the whole thing through what we call our spirituality, through our experience, not through learning in a book, not through calling nobody, just through the experience and the learning. Where gone past Bible, gone past Christian thinking, Judaism, Islam, all of these things them where them set up as religion for the people them. Rastafari penetrate all of them and gone way in the first original geographical location. Go find for him Redeemer. A serious thing. What people scared for hear on the radio? You know, them scared for hear radio announcer say these things. Them scared, them frightened for hear say we have certain views. We just almost sound we out with that smile, because people investigate certain things, so them just get scared and nervous when certain things not connect with them to that thing. You understand? Last week we asked a question, and then the next I call the man said he's the incarnation of the devil, but yet them still never answer the question. And we can ask many more questions all the week and I'm frightening more too. Sometimes we say certain things and we have to go dig deep, because we don't want to say something and then make the thing go earwire. And we look at certain things seriously too. You know, see, like what the question we asked last week, nobody come answer we. And we say we ask questions that children ask, that little children ask. Them don't understand. You know, like there's a little advertisement where they on the TV where the little youth stand up in front of this pregnant woman and him say, what's that? And she say, well, it's a little baby. Him say, so how it reach there? That's a little baby child question, but a very important question. How did it reach there? Because I hear the problem with that now. Most big people afraid to come tell you exactly how it reached there. You understand? So because them don't want to tell you exactly about sex, them start telling some little madness about its start, bring it there and this and that, and it make the illusion become so prominent that the youth now grew up with this tendency about sex. Because he wasn't told about this thing. How did the child come? It come through the union between a man and a woman and bring that. No, they're afraid to talk that. So them tell the picnic some little craziness. And over the years, we see the craziness gone in some perversion. Yes. Perverted thinking and perverted mind. We see the thing gone in because you never tell the youth originally what is what and what is not. You know, see it. So when we come down and say, but oh, you tell the things so over the years. So we have show this so this way, you know. Look at it that way, yeah. But some people afraid to look at it the next way because it though in line with how they were taught the thing. This is how you're supposed to think. Them have you in a little straight jacket. You're supposed to think this way. And if you're not think that way, you're idiot. Or you don't have no sense. So if you ask a question, like last week when I asked a question, I say, how is it that Moses is supposed to write the 5 books of the Bible? Yet still Moses is talking in third person. I want somebody to answer me that. There's no way I'm going to write something, my autobiography, and write myself in there as the third person like I was not experiencing it. That is a valid question to a child. And as I said before, I ask a question when children ask, because I realize when children ask question, if them get the right answer, it work out a certain way in them consciousness. Because it make them know go search deeper. If them get the wrong answer, them become like zombies and puppets. And then when them grow big now, it's a rebellion. Because them come say, but look how them did that tell we lie. Like me as so now. A pure lie then they tell we. Them still a tell we lie. And we come find out say a lie them a tell. Because when we did a little picture when them know say a lie them a tell. Because even the people them who tell a lie don't know say a lie them a tell. That is how deep the thing is. Because this lie come from centuries of liars. And them keep the lie floating by showing you more things that make attract your subliminal thoughts. And then put the thing inside of it and put the lies, and the lies them look like truth. So when you hear the truth sound like lie. Most of the things then what we know is lie. Most of the things them that we come to believe is lie. And we are talking about like millions of things, whether political, social, sexual, religion. Most of the things them that we hold fast to as truth is lie. It comes from a group of people that is there to manipulate history, manipulate culture, manipulate social order, manipulate political order, manipulate sexual order, manipulate God thinking, manipulate spirituality and religion, and give us what them want to give us. Make them feel say, make we feel say, what them say is the truth. And if we go circumvent it, is either we're going to get ton madman or our own people shun way, disregard way, and say, boy, right now, foolishness in my talk. Where get them foolishness there from? And guess what? The man, they don't tell you the foolishness already. Him don't tell you foolishness already. You have the foolishness in your head for years, hundreds of years, thousands of years. You have the foolishness in your head. And you not say a foolishness because you know what? God know nothing else more than what him tell you. So when you hear a man come down and tell you, say, but when I want a two, you know, and two and two and four, and you keep going on and say, but hold on, but you have something well lower than all zero, you know. Come on and tell you, say, boy, a man feed 5,000 people with 4 fish and 12 barley loaf. And you say, how's that possible? Him say, well, watch you now. It's supernatural thing that, you know, that is thing where you can't even question that. That is beyond your comprehension. I say, but wait, or beyond my comprehension, what is it? What's the purpose of it? Why am I shown something that do have no significance and relevance to the reality of my life? Why am I being told that a man feed 5,000 people with 4 fish and 12 barley or whatsoever and feed them with? Why am I being told that in my life? Why should I now accept that as a real situation? Because if the man, it come to me and show me, say, look here, this is a metaphor for something. This is a figuratively speaking. I'm trying to show you something mythologically. And the myth is there to make you grasp a certain understanding that is in the human comprehension. But I'm using flavors and different things to make you more understandable of what I am trying to say. But them don't do it that way. Them say this is history, this is a real thing, and that's how it go. And if you think something different, you're something else other than where you is. And them have matter in them eye and can't see it. Because the matter is so thick, it close them eye. So them think without understanding. And them accept without knowing. Because the belief is what them grab with continuously. Them all with a belief system. And them grind it in a way. And pump it in a way. The way we eat, the way we talk, the way we walk, the way we dress, the way we angle with women, the way we angle with brethren and sistren, the way we angle with cultural experiences that is indigenous to we, the way we look on the world, the way we don't look on the world, the way how we look on things that we don't know about and accept it as things that we're supposed to be. It's a terrible thing them have we in her. Especially black people. Especially black people. Black people, they're way over there, so. And when them supposed to over here, so. And when him hear about himself, him deny himself. You ever talk about Peter deny Christ 3 times? Black people deny themselves 400 times. In a 400 years, black people deny themselves 400 times in a 400 years, and I carry weight on them shoulder and believe them in a slavery still.
So we say the coming up now of America and where America is today, and you hear the man talk about slavery. And them start with history of slavery like this how it start. When we know, say, thousands of years before in the Greek or anything like that, there were African people living in institutions, having them laws and all them things there. But the reality of it is that this is not the time now for say you don't know. Because there's so much information given right now that if you really say you don't know, trust me, trust me, it's a terrible thing right now. At this time, you have to say you don't know. Because them want us to believe that because of them raping and robbing and pillaging them, the land and the people, and always stay now at the bottom is also was all the while. But if we only knew what we knew now, if we didn't only knew it then, it would have been a different aspect of life. And that is where we really want the people them to understand. We want the people them to understand, say, slavery is not African history. Slavery is not African history. And before they came to Africa, your foreparents have had institutions, scientific, economic, social, political, families. The families were intact. You might hear him always use this phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. That's an African proverb. It takes a village to raise a child. We lose all of that. That is why we are going here so now. We are going here so now. When we look on it, and then we see them have the wealth. You wonder how them get wealthy. How did America become the wealthiest country on earth? Where did they get their wealth from, or how did they get their wealth? Michael Moore said they tried to wipe out a whole group of people and then use a next group of people as slaves to build the country. What I'm talking about? I'm talking about the so-called Native Americans, who Europeans come to America and say, and try to wipe them out under the name of them religion, searching for land from Europe. Them did have to run from Europe. Religious persecution brought them into America, so-called. And them tried to wipe out that group of people. And in trying to wipe them out, they brought in a next group of people and enslaved the people them. But we know and we understand that even though America behave and go on like say everything is donkey-do, and we had a black president and all these things, we know that there's an underlying thing that is soon will flare up. And then we're going to wonder if it's the great America that, or if it's a third world country. Because according to that statistics, America is the worst first world country. I want to hear me say, I know me say, statistics say that America is the worst first world country. And America has done so much thing because the people in America, it's them white, it's Europe them come from. As we are telling you a while ago, these so-called pilgrims who was running from religious persecution in Europe, in England, came over and see the Native American them and try to wipe them out. And then them end up and try look independence from England and fight with them called a civil war. And the North and the South move against one another. And then them start now the Confederation down at the bottom. And them get the Confederate flag. Well, we see the flag come back in light again. And then we see this president, Donald Trump, this president who is very white and is trying to make America white again. America never stopped being white. It's just that them cloud it up and cloud up a whole heap of black people face. And make black people feel, say, yeah, things are going halfway. But we know. So the dragon is still alive. A lot of people hear about the liberty and justice of America. Most people recognize America as a free country, very democratic, and is in justice. But black people, over the years, as a collective force, as a collective group, never get no justice in America and still is part of that unjust system. So we continue. That Statue of Liberty. And when I was going to school, I thought that the Spaniards and the so-called Arawak, as we were told they were called, was having a conversation about land and all these things. But as a little youth, I never ever thinking in my mind about wait. The Spaniards never know the language of the Tainos. Now the Tainos know the language of the Spaniards, so them could never have a conversation. What transpired was these men have guns and bayonets, and the indigenous people of this part of the world had fruits to give. And they were slaughtered because of their look. These Spaniards thought that they would be killed because they were looking like, according to their eyes, savages without the heart of God in them, Jesus Christ. So they came with them guns and them bayonets to civilize a people who was here living according to how people should live, in tune with nature, having them rituals and them different ideas of society and how society should be, and their institutions. And Christopher Columbus, in his quest for finding gold, he never find none, but he carry back some of the natives to Spain. And he eventually make some more voyages, and him end up in a Jamaica, Cuba, all of these little islands, and find himself in it. Land up on the shores of Massachusetts in America. And what transpired is not something that neither the Tainos, nor the Native Americans, nor the Africans who came after would want to record in their history book as something that was wonderful and beautiful and what was a great part of their history. The atrocities that was placed on these people is still embedded in the soil of these land, these captured land. And Christopher Columbus, after all of that, never find a goal. And there was a time when them decide that they're going to send some of these people to look for gold, and anybody who never come home with gold, they would chop off them wrists. Or them foot. Don't have the foot part there. They would chop it off if you don't find a gold. And them still never find a gold. And thousands, if not millions, of Tainos was here when Christopher Columbus came. And when Columbus leave, there was a couple hundred. Christopher Columbus devastated this part of the world. Disease that these people never know was introduced to them in the land. The Tainos were murdered, raped, and all sorts of disease take them over. And when Christopher Columbus leave and went back to Spain, eventually, Christopher Columbus was arrested and imprisoned. Did we hear that in the history books? Yes, I hear that in my history book. I don't know about your history book. Christopher Columbus was imprisoned in Spain. He was not a national hero in Spain. He was not a person that Spaniards were taught in their history book to look up to. He was one of the most cruel and evilest person that ever come across this part of the earth. Christopher Columbus. We want you to remember what them teach you in history class when it come on to this part of the world. Because Christopher Columbus thought that he was in India. And logically, because he was traveling west, obviously it was the west of India. So therefore the people who was on the land, who was not Indians, was called West Indians. No, think about it. The Taínos was here first, think about it. We come, the English take over the land from the Spaniards, kill off some Spaniards and take over the land, capture land again. White people are kill white people for take well land where it's not for them own. Them still are do it. Jamaica was first occupied according to their history, because we can't even go back farther than that too, because the Taínos was here. Jamaica was occupied by the Spaniards who come and rape and kill the Taínos. Some white people from England kill off some Spaniards when they left here so. When Christopher Columbus gone back to Spain, him left a whole heap of them here so for build up villages and all them something there. The English come and kill them, murder them and murder the other little Taínos where they are and capture the land. So, thief from thief. My mother used to say thief from thief and God laugh. So here are some people who thief the land from the Taínos, and here are some other people come thief the land from them. And them come back, come thief the land from the said people, and the people them come back, come thief the land again. Now imagine this. We don't have to imagine it. Check this. The man make a mistake. How much years ago this happened? 1492? Let me say? 1492. How much years that? I love enough years that. The man make a mistake. And the mistake is repeated over and over and over and over and over and over. And over and over and over, and it's not an over me I talk about, it's over and over and over. The mistake is repeated through the centuries. So you know what happened now? The lie and the mistake become true. The Africans them who come here was never exempted from the label of Indian. So we use African automatically because we land over here so become Indian. We are West Indian according to the mistake. But we never know it was a mistake. Because it come 300, 400, 500 years. It follow the trail, come right through. And we're there so now. Most of it is not Taínos. Most of it come from Africa on some slave ship and reach over here so. And them call we West Indian. And we name it up. And we don't ever push a finger in our mouth and vomit it out back. We name it up and put drink water and make it digest in a way. And we become West Indian. You can't go tell most Jamaican. I mean, I can't go tell them because you will tell them. Most Jamaican in a Jamaica, if you tell them, say them are African, it's like you tell them, say them are dirty dog. If you tell them, say them are Africa, them say, look here, me no Rasta, no bring no dirty Rasta foolishness to me. Me no African, me a Jamaican, me a West Indian, me born in the West Indies. How the hell we reach that? How we reach that? We reach that because some people who have the power manipulate history and write the history from their perspective, from their eyes. And we come now and gulp it down. And if you tell a youth in a Jamaica, say him is not a West Indian, him say, I am teacher, teach him that. Because the teacher them accept that as a truth, as a reality, that we are West Indians. Or we become West Indians. When it's Africa, which part of Africa, Indian, them more than Uganda, and them come there so. And remember, say, when name run out all of the Indian, them out of Uganda one at a time. Them name again. So remember his name. But how the hell we become Indian? How the hell the Native American, the indigenous people of America become Indian? How the Aboriginal people then become Indian? How the Amerindian them in Guyana become Indian? Who gave us that label that we now can hug it up and say, we are West Indians? As a matter of fact, we have a university of the West Indies, where cater for West Indian people. And you come from the West Indies. I wonder if you saw me I say. May I say that when the reality leak and step in, it become the lie. And the lie because it there and beaten away, taught to us, regurgitated, we vomit it sometime and we drink back the vomit. And it become part of our life, part of our understanding of self, part of our thinking. And we call ourselves West Indian, and we don't see nothing wrong with that. No, it not change the price of bread. It not change how we walk, it not change how we talk. But guess what? It have something to do with a collective mind and how our consciousness is directed. How we direct our consciousness to ourselves. The confidence what we're supposed to have in ourselves. Get eaten, you know, like when rat are shooting pickle. And so we thinking get chew, lickle. Till the little thing, the first chewing, don't seem important. But guess what? It's a serious thing. Them have a way to torture people in a certain eastern country, you know. Them just put some water over your head, you know, and make it drip. Tip, by your forehead. Tip. It's a wicked way to torture people, that. Tip, tip. And that is what them do to we now, because we no wake up. We no wake up, you know. We still hear the tip in our head and start love it. Yeah, we start love the tip. Yeah, me a West Indian. Oh, but I come in African, me never born in Africa, but you never born in India neither. You never born in Africa, but you never born in India. It's India the man did I go. And make a roundabout turn. He make a roundabout turn and reach on us, and you now continue now with the roundabout turn with him. And him have you at speed roll like you or your king. Because I remember what him say, because him never know, you know. Him say the four corners of the earth, you know. We know that the earth now have no four corners. Him never know that. But people say, well, you want to say the four corners of the earth. I'm going to lick you from you to and make you reach the four corners. We part the corner. Show me one of the corners of them. Where the corner of the earth there. And that them do to we, you know. The peripheral thinking become the thinking. The major thinking. It starts on the periphery, on the edge. But then now it just nyam become you. So we are not ourselves. We are West Indians. We can't be African. We cannot be African because we never come from Africa. And furthermore, even if they come from Africa, we don't want to identify with Africa because of pure murder and death and destruction and Ebola and disease and this and that and
people are starving and all them something. We don't want to identify with that. You know, see it. We want New York, New York. It's so large, call it 2 times. New York, New York, with big bright lights and this and that and tear up jeans and fingernail we push down out there. So terrible. It's terrible. We're in a serious position. But you know, same like how the slave mill grind slow according to my brethren, Damien, it's same way the consciousness of a mill we are grind slow too. But guess what? Sure. We confident in that the mill a grind, the confidence mill a grind, and it a grind slow. We confident that the race is not for the swift, but it's to endure to the end. And we're going to endure because logic say we're not supposed to be here after 400 years of the whole heap of cruelty that them put on way. We weren't supposed to be here, but we're there still. And if we're there still, tomorrow we're going to be here. We're going to be here tomorrow. And we're there still. Because our liberation and our freedom must come as African people. And no matter how it look now, no matter how the thing look away, we say we're confident in the victory of good over evil. Haile Selassie said that many, many years ago. We confident in the victory of good over evil. And the reason why you name Mr. White is because you never know, say you have a name Ukumba Lumumba, you don't want to call those names neither because you say, what kind of name that? You prefer name Mr. Brown and Mr. White. How the hell you name Mr. White are you black? Because we in Africa, when we name ourselves, when our children, when our parents name us, they name it according to your character and your personality. Sometimes they name you on the day you was born. Like when we talk about Kwame Nkrumah, you know which day Kwame Nkrumah born because Kwame is Saturday. So you said that youth was born on a Saturday. It's a scientific approach to things, you know. You name a child according to his personality. You don't look on TV and say Kardashian with a big bottom or cock out so, and she have millions and you say you're going to name a picnic Kardashian. No, it's not to African people name. That's how European people make we do it. We are say it's very important that we understand how them get we caught up in a certain talking and certain ways to look on things. For them logic is not necessarily the logics of the world. It's the logics according to their definition of themselves. We must find the logic that define we as a people, as African people. And it is very important now that we understand how important it is to claim that part away. That Africanness, that part away. Because soon, trust me, the way them set the thing now, it crisscross. It crisscross. That only them can identify themselves. Look more we can identify ourselves. We still can identify ourselves now. Look on the TV. You ever see the people that read news on TV? I say, oh, it's what make down them people there. What the hell them are use for them face? Why is it that them look so? You tell me say so much shine upon them face that when them come on TV, them have to look so. Then when white people they on TV, them look so because them done white already, them fit into the camera. There are ways to light black people on the camera that these camera people don't know because they never go to school where studies say black people must not look like white people on television. Black people must look like black people and white people must look like white people. And there's ways to do it. But them never study that. African people is African people. It's just simple. China people don't look like white people on TV. And no matter them cannot look like white people. Them face round differently. And if them stand up and you look behind them, you don't see nothing. And them usually short. I go to Africa and see some pygmy. Them call them, hey, when them, hey, you wouldn't believe how big people them, you know. I not talk about freak of nature, you know. Like some people you see on TV, you know, we have this Them little short people are going with them antics in America and them come. We're talking about real people in Africa. And some little man and some little woman. When you see them look like picnic. You look like a whip of picnic road up along the yard. But them is people, big people. You understand? Not freak of nature. What we have done as a freak of nature, because black people don't want to see them African. It's a freak. It's a freak if a black person come out in a yard and have him fingernail stretch gone out there so, and the ear a horse ear, and the bottom enough for them own, them breast enough for them own, them lipstick enough, I mean, them eyebrow enough for them own, them eyelash enough for them. That is freak of nature. Put pant pie now, them have tear up pants, them have dress out, them have them no clothes on. Them go out dance, a light fire underneath them crutches, and do all sorts of things. That is freak of nature. But that is where we're there. We come like this and be like this because there is low self-esteem. And Marcus Garvey say, and we're going to repeat it over and over and over and over. If you have no confidence in yourself, you're twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won even before you have started. The words of Marcus Messiah Garvey. We're sick if we continue after we know in our history say the guy make a mistake. And after we now know and see who is Indian in a Jamaica. And we, the African stock, will come here so not like how the Indian them come here. Because them never come here tie up on no slave ship. For them, mothers never get pregnant on slave ship. That because them never want to get the baby on the slave ship and reach us. So them throw themselves and the baby off of the ship. Them rather go down in the water. I couldn't say a lie. I could say it's a mistake Columbus make. Columbus make a mistake. And we use the mistake to define ourselves as a people. And this boasted slave them on you so. We tell you say it don't matter. That don't make no difference. If you think you can go in a Mr. Maharaj's place and call him German or call him Indian, not Indian, sorry, call him Finnish or Swiss, him not gonna accept that. Him is an Indian. Him come from India, him parents come from India. What we say? We say African people have to wake up. Wake up. Because the thing start out with a lie, so it must continue with a lie. Because you can't start out with a lie and end up with truth. You can't start out with a lie and then at the bottom, because you have to go tell the next lie to redeem the first lie. That is how it go. Until somebody catch you in something, it's like you have to go find something else, you go justify the next something and justify the next something. The only thing is that when you tell a lie to somebody, most of the time the person don't know it's a lie. You know, see it? So true don't know it's a lie. In order to amplify what you did say in the beginning, that him can more believe you more, you tell a next lie. And a next lie and a next lie. But it's still a lie. Keep on, even if him catch you or not, it's still a lie you tell. But him don't know it's a lie. So it's we that I stop the lie where we never know it's a lie. But here we know. We get more conscious of our surroundings. We have books and we can read them English language. We can read about them history and ours. And we fools if we have all of these information in front of us and still refuse to dig into it and believe all sorts of madness. Because belief cannot inspire you to reality. It is information that causes inspiration. And the less information you have, you're going to turn to ridiculous thinking, superstitious thinking. And when you put it down, you came say that is inspiration. The greatest people, the people who have inspired people more is people who have information. Not people who just go along and sit down and say, yes, this might be that and believe this and believe that. No. Inspiration come from information. And if you don't have the information, it's going to lead you to superstition. So most of it gone into some superstitious belief system and create a sort of illusion. And when them give you for them reality, it become our reality now. And we start to amplify their reality with madness. Because we don't have the information, we start to now deal with superstition and add superstition upon the belief and superstition upon the more belief and the more belief. And then we turn out like damn idiots. And we can't get nowhere. Because we don't recognize that it's a lie. It's a lie them tell we. For years we tell them and we on this lie. This is the cutting edge.